Hi, I'm Mark Turok from American Parkour. Today we're showing you how to do parkour. It's important to realize that parkour is more than just the sum of a bunch of movements. Parkour is a practice and a discipline that is good for both your mind and your body. But to begin to learn, you need to master some of the basic techniques. So we're going to show you some of these techniques today. The techniques we're going to show you start with landing and rolling, which are really safety items. You need to be able to land well to do parkour and transfer your momentum well to land safely. Then we're going to move on to precision jumps. We're going to do vaults of 3 different kinds. We're going to do a basic 2-handed vault, a speed vault, and a monkey vault. We're also going to do tic-tacs, wall runs, and cat leaps. One of the great things about parkour is that it really requires very little or no equipment. The only thing that will really help is a good pair of shoes. A good pair of usually lightweight running shoes, especially with good traction. K-Swiss makes a pair of shoes that are made specifically for parkour, and they have really great traction. Aside from that, there's nothing you need except to go out and start training. Safety is absolutely crucial in parkour. Parkour is a physical discipline, so there is some chance for injury, especially if you rush into it without learning the basic movements first. That's why we show you landing and rolling first. It's very important to be very comfortable with where you are and only increase in very small increments. This is one of the mantras of parkour, is increasing but slowly. Slowly building your boundaries and building what you're capable of doing. There's some misleading information out there in the form of videos where people are jumping even between 2 buildings. But these videos don't have labels on them, so you don't know if either the person is going to get hurt because they haven't practiced enough, or maybe this is a practitioner who's done this for 10 years and is very comfortable with what they're doing. In any case, don't try to imitate others. Work at your own pace and keep safety first. I started practicing parkour in London about 6 years ago. Since then, I've been part of some of the world's largest organizations based around parkour. Currently, I run the American Parkour website with help from the guys on the Tribe and also a team called the APK Alliance. Together, these guys put together great information about parkour. There are tutorials, articles, so whether you're just getting started or you've been practicing for a long time, there's great information here. It's also a large community with a forum so that you can meet and train with other people around you. The important thing about parkour is that you only get the benefits of it by actually training. So let's get started.
To watch the other segments in this video series or for how-to videos on almost any other topic, visit monkeyseed.com.
Hi, I'm Chipper and I'm the President of the Australian Parkour Association. Today we're making some videos with Frank on how to warm up for parkour and also what parkour actually is. Parkour is a training method that incorporates a method of movement and an idea or a philosophy that goes with that movement. It's an alternative way to stay fit. It's a bit different. You don't need the gym equipment, you don't need to pay memberships or anything like that. As long as you've got obstacles around you, you can use them. The social aspect is something that people really enjoy about it. Also, some people like the aesthetic of it. Alright, so with the warm-up for parkour, what we're trying to do is mobilise our joints and get ourselves flexible. So we're going to go through the warm-up for parkour now. To start off with, probably one of the first things you want to do is go for a bit of a jog. It doesn't need to be too long, but what we want to do is get the blood moving around the body. Once you've done that, then we want to focus on the mobilisation of all the joints and on the dynamic flexibility of all the muscles. So you can start off with something like the wrists and just taking them through their range of motion. So that's the idea behind the mobilisation, taking them through a range of motion. Things like the elbows and the knees, we tend to do that normally. We get a cup, we drink from it, we do a mobilisation here. Some other parts of our bodies we need to spend a bit more time on, like the shoulders. This is a mobilisation exercise, so turning them over. A lot of people can find this one actually quite difficult. Same with this one, actually holding your arms straight and shrugging your shoulders. Other things can be simple as squatting, hip rotations, or lunging side to side. We also want to focus on the dynamic flexibility. So basically that means just taking them through, once again, that range of motion. So for the arms, things like that. For the legs, it's especially important. So doing leg swings, starting off small and progressively getting it higher and higher. Really gently and slowly. You don't want to pull anything. So what we're going to go through now is quadrupedal movement. This is one of the fundamental aspects of warming up for parkour. It helps build strength, endurance, as well as coordination between all the parts of the body. So what we're going to do here is get Amo to demonstrate. And what you're going to see that she's doing is she's moving her left hand and her right leg, and then her right hand and her left leg. So we're alternating which parts of the body we're using. What this helps do is build those connections and be able to control both sides of your body, top and bottom, left and right, at the same time, all at once. So what we've been doing so far have been very generic exercises for warming up. Also what we want to do for the warm-up is some very specific exercises. One of those things is landing. So rather than just going up to the biggest jump we can find and jumping off there, we want to start off low and then spend a bit of time progressively working our way up in height. So to demonstrate, move up a bit further. We're not in any rush here. Just go a little further each time. All right, another aspect of parkour in the warm-up is balance. A lot of the time when people come off, when they're balancing on something, it isn't because they're actually ready to fall off, it's because they think they're going to fall off, and so they just jump off anyway. Whereas you've got to train yourself to fight, to keep your balance, to stay on the bar, rather than just taking the easy option out and then jumping off. Which is, it's a fundamental aspect of parkour, is choosing the hard way. So if you're balancing along and you're going to lose your balance, you're not just going to step off and drop down to the side. You're going to do everything you can to stay close to the bar and on the bar. So what you do when you start to lose your balance, bend your knees, get down low, grab the bar and drop off to the side like this.
This is a tutorial on the wall climb, also known as a top out, a maneuver that gets you from a hanging position to the top of your obstacle. Before we begin, it is important to know that this movement is only half about technique. The other half is based on strength and conditioning. So before we start analyzing the technique, I will begin by giving you some conditioning exercises that you will need to practice in order to properly learn the wall climb. The initial movement of this technique is all about explosive power from the arms, back, and obliques. The following conditioning exercise will target those particular areas and help you build the necessary strength. The final movement of this technique requires a fair amount of upper body strength, specifically your triceps and upper back. Train the following motion to work these areas. Work on full extension of the arms. The final method of conditioning I will give you will piece together the two movements. You will train the motion in what is called negative. Start above the obstacle and do the movement backwards, controlling it as much as possible. The more times you can repeat the movement, the better. If If you are serious about mastering this technique, I advise creating a training routine based on these exercises. It may surprise you how quickly you will progress. There are 4 basic steps to the technique. The first is identical to the conditioning exercise you just learned. Simply shoot your knee up parallel to the wall as you pull up. The motion will raise your center of gravity, making you temporarily lighter. This will take some of the strain off your muscles as they pull your body weight up. The second step is a transition. As you pull up, you must push your chest over top of the obstacle. Along with your torso leaning over, you must also quickly flip your hands flat on top of the ledge. This movement is what most people struggle with, as it must be done explosively. If you do not have the strength to complete this movement, continue your conditioning. Watch the movement one more time, only this time watch the legs. It is important that the feet switch, as you will need the use of your right leg in one of the upcoming steps. The third step is the press-up. This movement should be easy if you have been working on your conditioning. The purpose of this movement is to create room underneath your body so we can execute the fourth step. The fourth and final step is the kip-up. Use your free leg, in this case the right leg, and kick it up behind you. This movement lifts your hips and gives you the momentum needed to swing your legs underneath your arms. Congratulations, you now understand the basic mechanics behind the wall climb, or the top out. Let's review. Step 1. While pulling up with your arms, shoot your knees straight up. Step 2. Pull your chest over the wall, flip your palms flat, and switch your feet. Step 3. Using your triceps and your back, push up until your arms are extended and your body is over top of the wall. Step 4. Swing your back leg behind you, lifting up your hips and placing your feet underneath your arms. There is a variation to this movement I affectionately call the pop-out. It's just like a wall climb or a top-out, only you incorporate existing momentum instead of executing it from a dead hang. The same concepts apply, only the momentum removes some of the steps. As soon as contact is made with the wall, the secondary leg must swing back as high as possible, while the arms support the weight of the upper body. It's a combination of timing, technique, and strength that makes this movement work. There are 2 tips I'd like to give before this video ends. First, if your shoes tend to slip on the wall while training this technique, try removing your shoes. Bare feet have better grip than most shoes. Second, keep an eye out for walls with overgrip, the kind of ledge where you can wrap your fingers around the other side. These will greatly assist your climb as you can pull at the wall. Thank you for watching.